Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and in this episode I have a Kawasaki ZX-4RR here with me. I will be installing the new TST Industries frame sliders on this bike. What you see in front of me is a standalone product that mounts to your frame and engine. This is the most robust area of the bike to mount such a component to. Like I said, this is a standalone component, but it is also available as part of a package. We call that the Total Protection Package. It includes bar ends, fork slider, spools, and then also the frame sliders. So if you want to catch a discount, check out tstindustries.com. We have those packages ready to go. All right, this will be a very, very simple installation. You drop the screw out of this connection and you replace it with all these components. No need to remove any of the fairings to gain access in there. So that's a really big bonus. In addition, we did make this system very, very robust. We wanted to pick up the most robust componentry of the bike with several different areas. So our 12.9 class bolt mounts through the frame into the engine, and that in itself is very, very strong, but we also included this captive geometry on one of the components here that captures itself around the frame. Now the frame spar there does have a rectangular section geometry, so this will catch around that and prevent this entire assembly from spinning. So should you go down, this will not have the opportunity to spin itself out of the way and then create destruction to some of the other components around there. And you will also be distributing the energy of the crash among many more surfaces. So that is a very big plus. What you see here is a hand-built setup. I used some safety wire just to demonstrate to you guys what that'll look like when it's assembled. We will assemble it piece by piece on the bike. Here you see the right side, this is the left side. All of the components are CNC machined. The Delrin puck here, we use Delrin because it has very good mechanical qualities for absorbing impact, and it's very durable. In addition, the design also took into consideration ramping. So when the bike goes down onto a surface, you do not want to be digging into soft surfaces in case you do come off pavement. If you dig in, chances are it'll catch and flip the bike over. This sort of a geometry will have more of a chance of just ramping up and skating over all that stuff. All right, I think that's pretty much it on the yapping end. Let's grab some tools, let's get it done. All right, we're at the bike now. I'm gonna make a couple notes before we start. First of all, I like to do only one side at a time, because if you unbolt too many components from the frame, chances are the motor will droop, and now you have a bigger problem. You'll have to raise it up, align it again. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it simple. So one side at a time from start to finish, and then we move over to the other side. Second note, well, we do have left and right specific components in this kit. The turn component is not marked because there's a vastly longer and a vastly shorter one. The longer one goes on the left side of the bike and conversely short on the right. Matched on the left side is the longer bolt. This is 10 millimeters longer than the other side. So that's how we will be selecting the parts. And the rest of the parts are just inscribed with an L. On the puck, we have puck 1L and puck 1R. So choose the left one, good to go. Let's grab a 14 millimeter socket and extract this bolt. There is a spacer between the frame spar and the motor. If the motor is properly adjusted from the factory in the frame, that should not fall out. If that is loose, make sure that it is aligned properly in there on the way back into the bike. We're gonna place the turn spacer in here. Then we are going to grab these two components. We have this surface that needs to mate on the frame. Now, how do we do that? Well, it's a little easier to get it in from behind the fairing. So we'll make sure that this tongue goes in up above this spacer surface first, and then flex the fairing out and move the Y geometry into position on the frame until it engages the frame. Now this is dovetailed, so we will have to place this pocket here into that precisely, then it'll push out of the way and we'll get the bolt through. I'm going to thread this in by hand. You do need to make sure that we are engaging the threads properly. You don't like to use any sort of tools when mating threads. Okay, once we start engaging, we can move on to a hand tool. Going to use an 8mm Allen tool. I have this now very close to bottom out. It still has a little bit of movement in it, so I will just ensure that everything is mated nicely in the back. We are sandwiching our support with our between the spacer and this plate. So let's just make sure everything's looking kosher in there, and it is. So I'm gonna tighten this down until bottom out, then switch to my torque wrench, which I've preset to 44 foot-pounds, and we're gonna torque this. All right. Now, let's get our puck mated on here. 2 of the 4 smaller screws are responsible for holding this on. All right, I've bottomed this out. I'm gonna switch to my torque wrench. You can just hand tighten this until the screws are preloaded against the Delrin, but I'm just gonna stick to the numbers. I'm gonna turn these guys in at 16 foot-pounds. Beautiful. As you can see here, our design mimics the opening pocket in the fairing shape here. It is nicely ramped, so I'm really pleased with this. I'm gonna hop on over to the other side and we're gonna perform this same procedure, but with the other components. All right, for the right side of the bike, we will employ the same tools and the same steps. First, let's get this bolt out. Now we'll grab our shorter spacer that's meant for this side. Again, this component that engages onto the frame needs to be brought in through the inside under the fairing. Once we have that in position and engaging the frame, we'll grab the plate component that has the dovetail pocket in it. Place that dovetail pocket over the frame clamping component and grab the bolt. Start those threads. Switch to an 8mm Allen. Almost bottomed out, a little bit of adjustment. All right, everything's looking good. The dovetail is engaged. I'm gonna bottom this out. Then switch to my torque wrench. Again, 44 foot-pounds. Now moving on to the 6mm Allen. Get that seated, align the threads, start the threads by hand. I'm gonna bottom these guys out and then just torque them to 16 again, like on the other side. All right, that's pretty much it for this install. We are done. Now the bike is protected on the side here. As you can see, we have just enough protrusion so that should the bike go down, it will be saved from very big carnage here in the motor cases. Some of the damage to the controls will be mitigated. Obviously, these are not really designed to save your plastics, but it will reduce the impact and abrasion to those plastics nevertheless. If you like what you see here, check out tstindustries.com. We have these parts ready for purchase. We also have other parts you may be interested for other bikes in your stable. I want to thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll get a like and subscribe from you and some comments. I like to hear comments. I like to converse with you guys, so bring them to me. All right. I'm going to sign off now. Thanks for watching again. Ride safe. See you later.